Comparing fractions is easy when the denominators are the same, but what about when they're different? So here, which socket is bigger, 11/16 or 3/4? Now it's hard to tell. To find the answer, what we're going to have to do is make equivalent fractions such that the denominators are the same. And there are three ways that we can do it. So one method to find common denominators is to check and see if there's one denominator that the others will divide into evenly. And in this case, we're only dealing with two fractions, 3/4 and 11/16, but we could be dealing with more, and if we were, we'd do the same thing. Okay, so we're going to look to find the biggest denominator, and that is 16. So then we'll check to see if the other denominators, in this case 4, will divide into it evenly. Well, yes, they will. 4 divides evenly into 16, so we can make an equivalent fraction with 16 in the denominator. Okay, so 4 times what number gives you 16? It's 4. So then we go 3 times 4 is 12, so 12 is an equivalent fraction. And 12/16 or 11/16, which one's bigger? Well, 12/16 is bigger, so that means 3/4 is bigger. So if that approach doesn't work, then another method is to choose the biggest denominator and multiply it by 2, and then try 3, and so on. And each time you check to see if the result is divisible by the other denominators. So here's what I mean. Say you're asked which one is biggest, 3/8, 5/12, or 1/4. Alright, so 8 doesn't go into 12, so the first method didn't work. So now we're going to try the second method. So we find the biggest denominator, which is 12, and we're going to try multiplying it by 2 first of all. So 12 times 2 is 24. Is 24 divisible by 8 and by 4? Well, yes, actually it is. Both 8 and 4 divide evenly into 24, so we can use 24 as a common denominator. So what that means is we're going to change each one of these into an equivalent fraction with 24 as a denominator. So let's start with 3/8. So 3/8. 8 times what equals 24? Well, 8 times 3 is 24. So 3 times 3 is 9/24. Let's try 5/12. Equals something over 24, so 12 times what equals 24? 12 times 2. Alright, so 5 times 2 equals 10/24. So that one's a little bigger. Alright, let's try the next one. 1/4 equals something over 24. So 4 times what is 24? 6. And 1 times 6 is 6. Alright, so now that they have the same denominators, we can tell that 1/4, or 6/24, is the smallest, and 3/8, or 9/24, is a little bit bigger, and 5/12, or 10/24, is the biggest of these three fractions. So if the first method doesn't work, and the second method doesn't work, a third method that always works is to just multiply the denominators together. But we leave this till last because it gives us a bigger number. So for example, in the previous example, we could have multiplied together 8 times 12 times 4 to find a common denominator, and that would have worked, but it would have given us a pretty big number. So it was much easier to use the other methods first. Sometimes, however, that doesn't work, and you can just multiply the denominators together. So here, let's say we have 4/5 by 8/9. Okay, so 5 doesn't go into 9, so the first method doesn't work. And we can try 9 times 2 equals 18. 5 doesn't go into that. 9 times 3 equals 27. 5 doesn't go into that, and so on. But these are fairly small numbers anyway, so let's just multiply them together. So 4/5, we're going to multiply these by the other denominator, which is 9. It's going to give us something over 45. 4 times 9 is 36 over 45. Now let's take the other one, 8/9. And we're going to multiply that by the other denominator. So 9 times 5 is 45. And 8 times 5 equals 40. So 40 over 45 is bigger than 36 over 45, which means 8/9 is bigger.